Submarines in War Thunder, that was the focus of the 2018 April Fool's event, an event that has now returned to mark the 8th anniversary of the game. Now the game mode itself is seemingly as it was in 2018, but for those players who were not around at the time, I will quickly run through how the game mode works and how to control the submarines. So to start off, the game mode itself. The more common mode appears to be a team deathmatch, where your objective is simply to destroy all enemy submarines. There's also a less common domination style mode where you will need to capture points to be able to fire cruise and ballistic missiles to win the match. Both modes use the same map, which seems to be named Underwater Hunting. You will be able to enter the event with a few nations, either Britain with the Vanguard class submarine, America with the Virginia class, and Russia with the Ascend class. These of course all have a variety of differences, but do have the same sonar and weapon types, with all submarines using guided torpedoes, albeit with slight performance differences. As far as controls, the submarines themselves are somewhat simple. As far as maneuvering your submarine, you don't really need to worry about much, just steering left and right, pitching up and down, and ascending and descending. Personally, I use a mouse aim layout that is similar to how I fly helicopters, using the mouse pointer for steering and pitching, and then keyboard arrows for ascending and descending. Some additional submarine functions include releasing noisemakers to try and mask your location, switching your sonar between passive and active modes as you search for enemy vessels, and firing your torpedoes. Repairing damage to your vessel and sealing breaches are then usually assigned to the 7 and 8 keys respectively. Once fired, your guided torpedoes are actually quite easy to use. You can turn on active sonar to make it easier to spot enemy submarines, although this will expose your vessel's location. As for maneuvering the torpedo, this is usually set to a basic mouse aim, which is pretty easy to use, and then further information such as your remaining range will be displayed on the user interface. You can also switch between the torpedo view and the submarine view using the shift key, which can be quite useful to further hide your submarine as you are using your torpedo. So getting into some gameplay, we're going to be taking out the Russian Yasen class submarine. Now this has the benefit of being able to dive deeper than either the Virginia class or the Vanguard class, with a maximum depth of 550 meters. It also appears to be the fastest of the three submarines, although does have the highest noise level and has a medium visibility, meaning that on sonar it will probably be spotted a bit easier than the other two. Nonetheless though, we fired our first torpedo, and as you can see, I took the submarine down quite deep. I find the best tactic is to go as deep as possible, as, well, the submarine, the Ascend class, can go deeper than any of the other submarines, so why not use that to hide yourself in, like some big kind of underwater valley where you're less likely to be spotted, and launch your torpedoes from there. Now, launching the torpedo, as you can see, I'm using the active sonar mode, and with that, I have spotted what looks to be a Vanguard class submarine. Now in this game mode, where it's the essentially team deathmatch version, there are basically bot or target submarines, which usually are Vanguard class, and taking them out will of course remove some of the enemy's tickets in the game. Now after repositioning slightly in an attempt to remain hidden, I do see some torpedoes coming from the enemy side, so decide to fire one of my own torpedoes to attempt to find the submarine that launched them. Now moving along, initially I prefer to not use the active sonar as much. As mentioned, when you're using the active sonar, it will be easier for the enemy to spot your vessel, and I don't want to be found, so what I do is I drop a noisemaker to essentially make it difficult for them to actually locate my submarine, and lower my depth as well to move away from the noisemaker. And then as soon as I've done that, I quickly switched back to the torpedo, which conveniently was positioned right next to an enemy Ascend class, which I very quickly took down. A little bit later I fired another torpedo, and as you can see on the active sonar screen, we have the Ascend class, who then disappears completely, but I get the kill. Now of course, it is worth mentioning the game mode, it's not a long-term game mode. It was originally made to be a few day long April Fool's event, and now it's come back for the anniversary, where it is again a few day long event. Due to this, it's not exactly perfect. You can have, well, flying submarines, one of the more interesting bugs, and also submarines have a tendency to just completely disappear, which can be a bit strange. Nonetheless though, we got a kill on that Yasen, and we just got a Virginia class kill, so going pretty well and remaining hidden in the lower depths of the map. And with that, I have launched another torpedo. Initially, I do prefer to remain in passive mode. If I do a sonar scan and don't see any enemy submarines nearby, and I still have lots of range on the torpedo, I would prefer to stay in passive, as it simply conceals the location of my submarine. And of course, while you're guiding the torpedo, you don't want a bunch of enemy submarines finding out where your submarine is. So it is best just to go on and off and just try and conceal the location of your submarine for as long as possible. Nonetheless though, going along, I spot a Yasen class down in this underwater valley, kind of going on and off. He's there, he's not there. The sonar isn't the most reliable in this case, so going in, I'm just kind of hoping that I will hit him, guessing where he is, and thankfully it does actually get that kill. I was just with some guesswork assuming where he was, and with that I saw a torpedo roughly coming in my direction, so I drop another noisemaker and descend below that to a deeper depth to continue to mask the location of my submarine. With that though, we have another Yasen class coming up from the rear of that submarine, hitting the back, getting that kill. And these torpedoes will usually be a one-shot kill kind of situation, which can be quite good. And that game went quite well. 5 player kills and 1 bot kill with that Vanguard at the start of the game. So there we go, modern submarines in War Thunder. Now, I can only speculate as to why this event in particular returned. Was it just some random fun for the anniversary, or a sign of things to come? Well, who knows. But personally, I am quite happy that the event returned, as I didn't actually get a chance to play it that much back in 2018, and I did kind of regret not playing it all that much. So I was quite happy to see that it was coming back, and that I would get another opportunity to give it a second look. As far as the submarines themselves, my personal preference is the Yasen class, the Russian submarine, as it seems to be the best all round, with the Virginia class for me being a close second. Unfortunately, I couldn't really get the British Vanguard class to work that well. Its spearfish guided torpedoes do seem to work quite nicely, but I found that the submarine itself would just drift around randomly and knock into things, taking damage whenever I was guiding the torpedoes, something that I didn't experience while playing either the Yasen or the Virginia class, which appeared to be much more stable submarines in the game. Anyways, that's going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment letting me know what you thought of the Submarine event, and if you would like to see this vehicle class fully implemented into the game. If you did enjoy the video, feel free to drop a like, and if you wish to see more content such as this, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.